There hasn't been a new asset class since the bond market was created in 1693. Well, now there's a new asset class, and it is the digital asset space. The question is, are you participating? Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. I got to tell you, the markets are doing some really good things. It's an exciting time to be an early adopter in a new asset class, an early adopter. Wow, that is pretty cool, guys. So listen, came across this article this morning. I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's really, it's significant given Ripple's position. You listen, they just got recognized as one of the top 50 disruptor companies on CNBC.com. Last month or the month prior, they got they joined or were selected to join a standards body for the ISO 20022, which is a global standard messaging for all banks globally. You know, what Ripple is doing and how they're doing it is really pretty powerful. And they are, if you will, flexing their muscles. They're flexing their muscle, guys. So listen, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. Let's do it. All right, so this is on ripple.com/insights, policy framework for digital assets in India. India is at an inflection point in fintech innovation. The country's government and policymakers have the opportunity to foster responsible adoption of new digital asset and blockchain technology by creating transparent, principles-based regulatory frameworks that support it. In 2019, this is really important to note, guys. In 2019, the United States was at a similar inflection point. Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, and Executive Chairman, Chris Larsen, penned an open letter to the U.S. Congress. I remember reading that on the channel, as a matter of fact. An open letter to the U.S. Congress, urging legislators to support fintech regulation that fosters responsible innovation and protects consumers. Since the letter was issued, various U.S. legislators, policymakers, and regulators have taken steps to further address the benefits of blockchain technology, whether it be by rulemaking, guidance, or statements of key officials. In a recent example, the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced a final rule that would revise the Electronic Fund Transfer Act as it relates to remittance transfer providers. Today, in an effort to provide Indian policymakers with similar recommendations, Ripple is releasing a policy paper, The Path Forward for Digital Asset Adoption in India. And again, guys, we all know about the banking relationship and the numerous banks on RippleNet in India. And remember Naveen Gupta talk about all the banks on India at one time or at one point will be on RippleNet. So the fact that they're taking the time to do this and get this out to India is powerful and significant. And let us not forget that they did open up an office in Mumbai. Everything they do is strategic. Everything. Recently, India's Supreme Court delivered an historic verdict in the Internet and Mobile Association of India versus the Reserve Bank of India's case, enabling millions of Indians to invest, buy, and sell digital assets through bank accounts safely and responsibly, promising a new era for digital asset technology in India. The verdict offers policymakers the opportunity to develop a thoughtful and globally aligned regulatory framework for the digital assets ecosystem in India. Ripple's policy paper offers an overview of the global digital assets landscape and proposed measures policymakers may implement over the short and medium term to enact a comprehensive digital asset policy in India, including, and I'm going to read these, but don't forget as well, guys, Ripple also opened up an office in Washington, D.C. We also know that Ripple is has its own, perhaps, PAC, right? The PAC, where they're constantly doing the things necessary to move regulatory framework forward in the United States. And so doing this, putting this, this paper, if you will, white paper, if you will, together for India is massive because they will pay attention to it. They will pay attention to it. And at the worst, it's Ripple saying that we're interested in helping you put together a framework that can move that nation forward. And then again, don't forget, Ripple joins the standards body for the ISO 20022, which is a global thing. So adopt a digital asset taxonomy. This is Ripple's recommendations in a nutshell. Adopt a digital asset taxonomy consistent with global practice, providing clarity to the legal character of digital assets. Enact a facilitative legal framework for digital asset service providers at the Gujarat International Finance Tech City, GIFT is the acronym, in the short term, to attract mature global participants to GIFT for developing enterprise use cases of digital assets. Listen, this one. Modify RBI's, that's, I believe is their central bank, RBI, regulatory sandbox framework to remove cryptocurrency. Check this out. Modify RBI's regulatory sandbox framework to remove cryptocurrency and crypto asset services from the negative list, thereby offering service providers an opportunity to test the value proposition of this new technology in the Indian context. Implement a conducive regulatory framework for digital assets by amending specific financial sector laws. For example, empower the Securities and Exchange Board of India to license, regulate, and supervise digital asset service providers. That's massive. It is absolutely massive. And by the way, that's exactly what the executive order that the POTUS signed and put forth. It does that exact thing. It empowers regulatory agencies like the SEC and the OCC, right, to move forward, right, without this regulation burden, if you will, right? That's what the act was named, right? Regulatory relief. So, for example, empower the Securities and Exchange Board of India to license, regulate, and supervise digital assets service providers. Nice. Around the world, many governments and policymakers are working together to establish clear regulation. Regions, including the UK, Singapore, Switzerland, and Abu Dhabi, have in place digital asset market frameworks that both support innovation and address risk. For example, the UK FCA recently issued a guidance, I think it's Financial Clearing Authority, recently issued a guidance classifying digital assets to provide regulatory clarity for market participants carrying on activities in the space. So they're pointing out that the UK's overseeing body, very similar to the SEC, has moved forward and issued a guidance, right, providing more clarity. Now is the time for India policymakers to take the forward-looking approach that many other jurisdictions have taken. Responsible uses of blockchain technology and digital assets can introduce tremendous potential to the Indian economy. Under a clear regulatory framework, consumers and businesses can confidently take full advantage of and operate within a safe environment that encourages the use of innovative technology. Brilliantly done and put together. We're talking about the billion, I don't know how many billions of people in India. And Ripple moving forward, taking the lead, if you will. That's a great way to put it, taking the lead to help this nation move forward. It's powerful in so many ways. We urge Indian policymakers to implement a regulatory framework that is technology agnostic, principles-based, and risk-adjusted. In the words of Garlinghouse and Larson, you have the world's attention. Let's come together and seize the moment. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done, Mr. Garlinghouse and Mr. Larson. Nicely done. And I do want to point out to you just as some examples of a couple of banks. Ripple improves access to India with Kotak Mahindra Bank. Right, again, right? It talks about that. With this in mind, Ripple established a Mumbai office in 2017 and aggressively began partnering with financial institutions across the country of India to improve access to services for consumers and businesses alike. We're able to do this through RippleNet, a decentralized network of payment providers and banks that connect to each other through our technology. And today we're pleased to share the newest addition to RippleNet, Kotak Mahindra Bank, a leading bank in India with over 1,300 branches again. And this came out in June of 2018. So it's been numerous other banks added onto the RippleNet as well. But my point is that they see the significance of establishing a presence in India. And when you do something like put together a letter, putting together a letter to help with a policy framework for a nation like India, it's very, very powerful. All right, guys, listen, I am going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you got some value from it. And never, ever forget this, guys. Old money doesn't want you to win. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.